Hey guys, DIY Maniac here. Today's video is going to be going over how to diagnose and repair a seat popping sound on a 9th generation Honda Civic. That's in the back portion of the seat near the lumbar. When you put pressure against it and release, you hear this spring sound popping. I'll put the camera here and hopefully you guys could hear it as I put my arm into it. You can hear a spring popping. So I'm going to show you how we remove the seat cover from the back and how we find out where that noise is coming from. So here we are looking at the back of the seat. So the easiest way to do this is to recline your seat forward as much as possible. And what we're going to have to do is detach, sorry about the sun glare, is detach the lower portion. It's held on by elastics. So you'll see when I pull it out, there's like a fabric that goes underneath, and there's these elastic straps that reach under the seat, and they have a hook that hook onto this piece of metal. Fortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you that, but on either side, if you put your hand in, you're going to feel that elastic, and there's going to be 2 of them. With your hand, follow that elastic, and you're going to come to a part where you feel a plastic clip, and it's basically a U-channel plastic that comes around and snaps into a metal bar. I'll show it to you what it looks like once I unhook it. So I find reclining the seat forward as much as possible makes it easier to get your hand underneath. So here guys, just to show you, so you see that back flap, here's those elastic straps, and there's those little clips. And basically when they go underneath, they clip onto the support under the front cushion. So what you kind of got to do, this is the position they're in, and you see it has like a little hook that grabs the bar. What you got to do is slide your finger in underneath it to lift it up, and then push up and off. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but literally it took me 2 minutes to do both sides, so it's not that hard once you figure it out. But like I said, you want to slide your finger underneath there to pry it open, and then it'll pop right off, and then they'll be loose, and now you could expose your cushion like this. Now your next step to do is we want to be able to, I'm really sorry about the glare, we want to be able to detach this part from the seat itself. So if you look here, there's a channel. If you look down here, you could see there's a plastic that fits into a channel, and what you want to do, so I don't know how well you could see. See, this is the plastic that's part of the back part. It's sitting in a channel. We want to pry it out. So you see how it comes out? See, it's pried up into here. So we're basically removing it from there, and you just basically got to pull it all the way along, and that releases now the back like that. Now our, at least from the bottom portion of the seat, our back fabric is disconnected. I'm just going to reset the angle of the camera and I'll show you what the next step is. So the next step is, if we look on either side of the seat, you're going to have a seam that's actually a zipper. It goes all the way down from the top here, running all the way down is a zipper. And we need to find the end of that zipper, because when you look at it, you don't see, like on your jeans, the typical zipper you would have. So what you got to do is reach in. Well guys, this sun glare is really bad, and I am sorry, but it's a beautiful day here finally. We finally got spring. You're going to reach underneath, and you're going to feel the tail of the zipper, and you're going to pull it out, and there's the zipper. Honda, God love Honda for giving us the zipper to be able to access the back panel. So you have one on either side. I already pulled this one out, and it runs up the seat. So what we're going to do is we're going to unzip those 2 zippers. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be right back. So here we are with the back portion unzipped, and you can now lift it out of the way, and that allows you to see the back of the seat. So you can see there's that plastic piece, and there's 2 springs, a top one and a bottom one. And I was able to identify where the noise is coming from, and it's the bottom spring right where it comes into a bracket. So the spring here comes around and then has a hook that goes into a bracket, and that's where it's making the noise. If you listen, Honda did put a piece of felt for the end of that piece of metal when it hits, not to make noise, but the front portion of the hook when moving is hitting that bracket and making that noise. And it does the same thing on both sides, but more noticeable on this side. Sorry, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this spring, and I'm gonna insulate the ends of it with something. I'm gonna have to play with it and see what I could put just to deaden that sound, not so it's metal on metal contact. So to take out that spring is very simple. The bottom portion's hooked in here, so you just want to pry it out. See if I can do this with one hand. Yeah, I can. And that drops the spring out of here, of these two. And now what you got to do is you're gonna have to put the camera down to do it here, but basically you're gonna take it and pry it inwards and basically take it out of that bracket, and that's gonna release that spring. So this is pretty much the reason it's here. This portion is for the lumbar to give you movement. As you see, I don't know how well you could see if I put you here. You see that's where the hook is, and that's where the noise is being made. Here is the bracket that it goes into, but it's on a spring as well, and allows for movement when you're, see, I could take it and it moves. So when you're sitting in the seat, they always put lumbar on you, but also to give it some give depending on your body weight or when you move in the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do to help sound deaden it. Hey guys, so I'm in the garage now. So now no glare whatsoever. So I'm really sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't come out too bad in the video. So we can see the point of failure on this bar or spring for the lower lumbar. See how Honda put a coating? It's not almost like a plastic or rubberized coating they put to help sound deaden. Well, over time, you have metal on metal, right? You have the spring in that bracket. What happens to that insulation cover that they put? Wore right through. So I think that's why the noise is being made, because it's metal on metal, and as you move it's making that knocking sound. And that would make sense because the car has 110,000 kilometers on it. I've had it now, I've put 60,000 kilometers on it, and only now has the noise started. So it's not a design flaw, because I would have heard the noise before. It's really just a matter of time through wear and tear. This insulated coating came off, and that's why we hear the noise. So now we need to figure out what can we put on this to help sound deadening. I'm actually going to use shrink tubing, shrink wrap, you know, that we use for electrical connections. I'm going to put that on, heat it up so it shrinks. That'll give us some protection. I think I'm going to rub some tape around it as well, some hockey tape, and that'll offer some sound deadening as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to show you guys how it looks when I'm done. So I figure I'll show you as I go along the process. So as we can see now, the shrink tubing is on. So you have to push it on a little forcefully to get it to make that bend. And once it's on, you take your lighter, you heat it up, and it shrinks. So that's giving us now quite a bit more insulation, but I'm still going to put the hockey tape. Let's put extra. It's not going to hurt anything, and it's just going to make our chances of killing the sound even more. So the shrink tubing I used, I don't know the size, to tell you the truth, but it's about that diameter. It's my second biggest. I'm sorry guys, I don't have the size for you. None of them. What I do is I buy big lengths of it, and I cut it up into small sections, and none of them have the marking on it. So I don't know what size it is, but you guys find the size that works for you. So I'm going to go ahead now and do the other side, and then I'm going to do the hockey tape, and I'll show you what it looks like. Well guys, I'm the worst kind of Canadian there is. A Canadian without hockey tape in his house. Guess my son used up the last of the tape I had on his stick. So I didn't feel like running out the store to get more just for this. So I used electric tape. So we now have the shrink wrap tubing first with a layer of electrical tape around it. That should definitely deaden the sound. I'm going to have to keep my eye on it, I guess, over time. I don't know if this is going to wear out just like the protective coating did. But this protective insulation coating is so thin, probably wasn't doing much anyway, so this is going to have a long life to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back into the car. So we have that bar back in. connected, and our noise is gone. I double checked it sitting in the seat as well as back here, so I solved that problem. But however, I want you guys to be note that is I did find an area that could make noise. It's not doing it for me, but when you look in here, you see you have that spring, and that's the bracket that that bar we re-insulated connects into. Well, there's a stop on it, so right now it's in the stopped position. So basically that bracket hits up against a little metal tab. Kind of see it right there behind the spring. So as you sit in the lumbar and this bar that we insulated pushes back, that bracket also pushes back, and the spring puts tension to bring it back where it wants to be. Well, if you're very hard on it, that can make the knocking sound as well. However, there's no real way to insulate that, and in my case it's not making a noise unless I'm really smashing on the seat hard, but through normal use I'm not getting any noise because of that, but just to make you aware. But if you are getting that seat squeak or rattle noise like I was getting, do what I did here by insulating the ends of that bar hook, so to alleviate the metal on metal friction. So the reversal of putting everything back together is just as we did when we took it apart. So we're gonna, put our flap down, redo our zipper. We're gonna tuck our zipper away. Now we gotta reinstall our clips. So no real way for me to show you. You're gonna have to do it by feel. Go underneath, it's gonna clip on to one of the bars underneath the seat. So it's, trial and error. You're not gonna be able to see what you're doing. So guys, that's how to get rid of a seat squeak or noise in this particular case on a 2013, but applicable to all 9th generation Honda Civics. This is a non-SI model, so I can't speak for the SI model, but I'm pretty confident in saying that it'll be the same setup back here. You can even see here the part number for that seat. In my case, the left-hand seat for a Civic 4-door EX black, so black seat. So guys, anyways, that's how it was done. If you have any questions or comments, of course, leave them down below. Please like and subscribe. My subscribership is getting up there, but I'm still not at that 1,000 number for YouTube to monetize my channel, so I appreciate any subscriptions I get. So thanks a lot guys for watching, and we'll see you soon.